Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell at before you blow up a plane.
Basha K. Ali!
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what, Chrissie, to say I dabbled in stand-up is something. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when Ash takes off his shirt. I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean. Hello. Oh, wait, I'm not supposed to bring you in yet. Hello. Welcome to the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We're on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Rumble, Rockfin. We're everywhere. Gosh darn it. Thank you for watching. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you're watching this. I don't know if Rumble lets you like and subscribe. But if there's a button to push, push it. Before I bring in my fabulous guest, I have a couple of comedy shows to shill here, being the huge grifter that I am. In 2 weeks, I will be in Minnesota for the very first time ever. I wonder what else I could do for fun in the area. I'll be in Minnesota headlining the Great River Bowl and Partners Pub in Sartell, Minnesota, Saturday, October 21st. The great Lila Hart will be featuring for me, and the great Nick Rekieta will be doing a set as well. Yes, you heard right. Lawyer Nick Rekieta on stage trying to be funny. You must come and see it. Who knows if this will happen again. Then I'll be back on Long Island in Belmore, October 27th and 28th. A little pre-Halloween comedy for you at the Brokerage Comedy Club there in Belmore, out on Strong Island. Then I'll be back in Florida, headlining in Tampa at the Side Splitters Comedy Club, Sunday, December 3rd. And that's their main club. They have two clubs, one that's kind of like in a theater, but this is their, I think, flagship club. Then, yes, back to California. We love California. I'll be in San Diego for the Mic Drop Comedy Club, headlining there Friday, January 5th and Saturday, January 6th. 3 shows that weekend. 1 Friday, 2 Saturday. And if you want to get weird, come to the Late Show. Things always get weird there. And, you know, these shows, you're almost guaranteed a viral heckler moment at this point, you know, statistically speaking. This is just what happens at my shows now. Come if you want to actively heckle, or if you want. Well, how embarrassing! My brassiere is sticking out of my drawer. I'll have a real studio one day. Okay, our next guest is. I think I've at least done his show a couple of times, but this may be his first time on the Chrissie Mayr podcast. And it's very exciting because he is not only the host of the Break the Cycle show, but he is the first ever, second ever presidential candidate I've ever had on this show. So this is a big day. Welcome, Joshua Smith.
Yeah, of course. Yay. Thank you so much for having me on, Chrissie. I'm a big fan. I think I have done your show once. I do think so.
Shit. I'm sorry you weren't memorable. I'm sorry you weren't memorable.
Ago. I know, it's terrible. But you've been on my show 2 or 3 times. So
okay, and it's a great show. And look at your fabulous set. Look at your you
I
got to
built it.
have a light up sign. You're not
Yeah.
you can't be in this podcast game unless you have a light up sign behind you.
Exactly. I agree. I stole my whole set from Steven Crowder, so
he doesn't need it. I don't even know.
We even have a mug
doing
club.
Anymore.
Yeah, we even have a mug club. So, you know, I'm not as funny, but
I wonder if he copyrighted the mug club.
I doubt
Do you know
it.
if that's a thing?
We didn't actually call it the mug club, so it doesn't matter anyways.
I wonder, like, can that even be copyrighted? It's just mug and club.
Doubt it. I doubt it. But thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited.
I'm happy to have you. I am lighting a candle with this is a very sassy electric lighter. It looks like a little bit of a cattle prod. A fan sent me this. Look, you can see.
It's like electric, like
Look
that's
at
just
that.
electric.
You can see the
bolt.
light, and then yeah, I haven't tried touching it yet, but
Yeah, probably not going to feel too good.
I have accidentally tased myself. I got a pink taser for Christmas last year, and so far the only person I've tased on the mean streets of New York City is myself. I was holding it the wrong way. I was trying to show a friend and be like, "Look, here's the sound it makes," and then I just tased myself right in the hand, and I was like, "Ah!"
Brutal.
and let me tell you,
Brutal.
it worked because at that moment I did stop raping myself. So it really did work.
Hey, it served its purpose. Yeah, absolutely.
So I said before, you're the second presidential candidate ever to be on this show.
Who's the first?
Actually, let me think. No, I had Larry Sharpe on. He didn't run for president. He ran for
he's never
governor
ran
of
for-
New
He did,
York.
he did run for vice president once in our primary, but he didn't get the nod. That was
Okay.
in 2016, I think, and it ended up being Bill Weld.
Larry lore than I do. So you are the first, because here's why I made that mistake. I tried to get Jo Jorgensen on
Sure.
when she ran, but she didn't give old Chrissie the time of day, and I think that's why she lost.
It's probably true. That's probably why she got the 1.3% of the national vote. Is because she didn't go on the Chrissie Mayr podcast.
I think she could have got at least 1.4 had she given me an hour of her time. But
Yeah,
I want to know.
what are you gonna
Yeah, I laughed when I saw that you were running. I was like, "Is this a joke?"
Nope.
But this is exciting. This is
Yeah,
not.
it started out kind of as a joke, and it was going to be a very trolling campaign. And to be honest, we're still staying in the same the same essence of our troll self. And we're just going to try to take that troll to the old parties. I mean, that's really the goal, But no, it started out, we wanted Dave Smith. Everybody wanted Dave Smith to run.
What? Yes. What happened to Dave Smith? I thought for years people were talking about how he was going to run. He was going to change the world. He was
We
like
all did
this
too.
funny, fabulous libertarian. What the fuck happened?
There was a time where I told Dave, I'll quit my job and come be your campaign manager. I've already ran 3 national campaigns. I know what I'm doing. I'll help you out.
Wow.
And then he decided to choose
meant nothing to him.
He decided to choose his family over us. I mean, how dare you?
Oh, boo!
Yeah.
Come on.
But that's okay.
You can always get another family. You only have one shot at the presidency.
Well, and I looked at, I think I saw the writing on the wall quite some time ago. I was like, all right, he's not going to run. If he was going to run, he would have announced already. So I announced as a, I guess I'll do it. Like literally that was my campaign slogan. I guess I'll do it. We got to have a Smith in the race.
I guess I'll do it.
Why not me? And so I announced, and it blew up really quickly.
Right.
I mean, we had within 48 hours, we had like a 50-person campaign team. And we were already basically raising money, and website was set up, 24 hours after that. And it was like, okay, we're doing this. And so we've taken it a much more serious route. We're starting to do debates. We are pushing to be in the free and fair debates in Los Angeles, which they're holding now since they've stopped all the uniparty debates. Top 7 candidates, I think, in the polls there actually get into the debates there. And so yeah, we've taken it very serious. We're traveling all over the country. I'll be in Syracuse, New York, on the 10th of next month. I'll be in South Carolina. We just did Denver, New Jersey.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're traveling all over the place, and it's a real campaign, very serious campaign. And we put out some very serious platform points. You can see them on my website there, and very serious videos. If you wanted to play that video at the top, I'm sure people would love it.
I do. It looks very wholesome in Americana.
It's a very wholesome video that everybody's going to love very much.
This video is going to be the opposite of Bud Light, I feel.
America, land of the free and home of the brave. What does that mean to you?
What does it mean to me?
I don't know. We're cutting
What
out
do you
though.
think about when you hear it? Is it a 250-year-old hard-fought revolution for freedom and independence? Do you think of the founding fathers penning words that would forevermore see a nation and its people free of tyranny? Is it 4th of July barbecues and time with your family? Is it your right to peacefully speak your mind without fear of violent repercussion? Is it perhaps a republic of the represented, led by public servants who listen to the will of its people?
I'm inspired so far.
And we're frozen. The best part.
Or is it whatever this bullshit is?
Oh no.
Oh, it's buffering.
We're in a downward spiral of
it's my internet can't handle all this.
forever wars,
too much.
Downturn.
inflation,
It's like we've had too much work.
constant attacks on our natural rights by the very people that campaign on
Yeah, you can always pause it and let it load.
Protecting them.
Probably.
I'm pausing
pro-
it. It's a
It
classic.
might make it better. We missed the best part. We missed the best part, which is fine.
Oh
That's all right.
no. Oh no, wait. We can do it again. Dramatic effect.
All right, let's see.
Led by public servants who listen to the will of its people? Or is it whatever this bullshit is? We're in a downward spiral of insanity. Forever wars, inflation, constant attacks on our natural rights by the very people that campaign on protecting them, and petty tyrants around every corner looking to use the crushing weight of the federal government to strip you of your personhood for wrongthink. Enough already. My name's Joshua Smith, and I'm running for president of the United States of America. I'm running on a radical platform to end the wars, end the Fed, and restore some sanity to this once great nation. We are fed up with lifelong politicians who legislate policy that hurts Americans in their pocket, in their livelihood, and in their property. We need a drastic overhaul of the status quo. I am under no illusion that the powers that be will allow me into the White House. We may not win, but together, we can send a message to Washington that most of us are fed up with the constant barrage of filth they shove down our throats in DC. We can challenge lifelong politicians for their long-held positions of power. We can make the powerful elite change their position on policy. We can be loud enough to disrupt the corporate news media and their agenda to weaken America. Together with the 61% of the population who was so fed up they didn't even cast a vote for president in 2016. We can make the changes that give us the power back.
Look, man who
Let's take our
washes his
frustrations
dishes.
to the ballot box in 2024 and send a message that we're ready to opt out of the status quo. Enough already. My name's Joshua Smith, and I'm running for president. I'm ready to fight back. Are you?
Woo!
Nice.
Great song.
None of these other guys
Very-
are putting out ads like that. I promise you.
No,
single
that's
one.
so sick. I
Yeah.
love that.
Nobody
I
else
love
got
an-
an ad like that.
I love an anti-twerking message.
I'm not listen. I'm not opposed to twerking. I just like put some pants on when you're in front of kids on the street. You fucking
Yeah.
weirdos. You know
You know
what I
what
mean?
it is? It's like they've ruined twerking for the rest of us.
Yes. It's
These
not cool
degenerates.
anymore. You made it
No.
terrible.
Yeah. It's like I can't compete with a man in a diaper.
Yeah. No one can.
Wow.
Really.
So did you find when you finally ran, did you feel like all of the people and libertarians that would have been behind a Dave Smith run got, it seems like they would just get on board.
There's
with
a
you,
lot.
because-
There's a lot of them. I think that the board of the caucus that he kind of fronts has decided to go with somebody else named Michael Rechtenwald from the Mises Institute. Well, he's not actually from the Mises Institute, but he's written for them a couple times, and he's written a couple books or something. And he converted from Marxism to Trumpism in 2016, and then became a libertarian. 2 weeks after he announced for president in our party, which is kind of strange. But they've gotten behind him, which I think is pretty strange. And,
yeah,
it's really but no, the caucus at large, I largely helped build it, and a lot of the people are still on my campaign team and supporting us. So we definitely are considered the preeminent candidate in the Libertarian Party today. We won every single poll that's come out, absolutely 100% every poll. And in fact, we did the debate in New Jersey last week, and they put out a poll after that, and I had 64%. I won with 64%.
Wow.
So, yeah, we're doing really well. And I think that I'm able to. I just got on Timcast recently. We're talking about going on PBD soon. We got a lot of stuff in the works.
You went on, or you're gonna go on
PBD or Timcast?
Timcast.
I was on Timcast a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, snap. Okay, I'm sorry I missed that.
Yeah, they flew me out and all that stuff. It was really cool. I had a driver. I was like, Tim's cool, man. He's a nice guy.
That's exciting.
Yeah. And then
I did it once, and I just was like, I'll drive up. Like, I don't know why.
You're not too far away. I live in Iowa,
easy.
so
yeah.
But yeah, they had the hotel room for me and
flight.
food and everything. They took care of me totally. They were great people. I love them. They're very nice. Of course, Phil's been a good friend of mine for a long time. I love that guy. So it was nice to get to hang out with him in person. But yeah, we're working on PBD. Yeah. We're working on Sean Ryan and
what PBD?
Patrick Bet David.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So that's the next big goal. That and Sean Ryan. So we're working on those two. We did just get an email back from PBD, so hopefully soon he'll have us on. But yeah, we're doing all the things that we wanted Dave Smith to do. Really, that's what we're doing. I may not be as funny as Dave Smith, which is fine. But I have the same principles, and I'm putting out the
You're
same
just as
type of
good
policy.
looking, which is
Thank you.
really
I
the
appreciate
main.
that.
It's the main reason. You don't want
I'm-
someone way uglier taking your spot.
My shoulders aren't as thin, as
Yeah,
those. So.
you seem taller and maybe like you've been in a gym a couple
I think we're
times. That can't
exactly the
hurt.
same age and exactly the same
Okay.
height and the same height,
Okay.
but I'm
Good.
definitely
Okay.
heavier
Again,
than Dave Smith.
if you were shorter and uglier, I would say this campaign is
No,
sunk.
I'm
But
6'2". I'm 6'2". He may be 6'2" or 6'3". He may have me beat by like a half inch or something, but he's like 2 months younger than me. So we're
Mhm.
basically the same person. We have the same last name and everything. So I don't know why anybody wouldn't support me that came from that side of the party, But
Right.
we're doing all the things that we wanted him to do. We're running a really good campaign, and we got great staff. We put out great policy issues already. We're working on stuff like the Title 4D of the Social Security Act, getting rid of that, bringing the families back together.
What's that?
It's
Is that
so
on
Title
your page here?
yeah, it's on there. So Title 4D, essentially what it did was Gerald Ford signed it into law in 1975, and it gave the states incentives to split up families to collect money from a parent. So it's for every 66 cents that a state spends on child support collection and welfare programs, the federal government gives them $1 back. So they're actually getting paid to put people through the family law system. That's why a lot of the times they automatically collect. Yeah. And so if you look at the stats since 1975, when this stuff was instituted, when it was signed into law by Gerald Ford, the amount of fatherless homes have more than tenfold. I mean, just absolutely undeniable stats. The amount, it says, I got all the stats written on there. I can't read them. You're too far away, but
Right. Okay, so this is fascinating because I knew that our government incentivized single motherhood and we know it's glamorized from a cultural perspective,
Sure.
but I didn't know
it goes so much deeper than that. Yeah, it goes so much. They've
the other side
literally,
of it.
they didn't just incentivize it; they're paying states to do it. And you can look at a lot of policy out there: the drug war, the constant warfare state, the welfare state. All of these things are geared towards breaking up families entirely. But this is at the very crux of the issue that nobody talks about. And in fact, the only person I've seen talking about it recently is Larry Elder and Vivek.
Wow.
Thankfully, Vivek has been talking about it. None of them. I've never really heard Larry speak about it. I heard that he speaks about Title 4D. I've never heard Vivek utter the term Title 4D of the Social Security Act, but I have heard him talk about how we need to stop incentivizing families to split up. But this is it. This is the crux of the problem right here. They instituted this. They made it very easy for men and women to break apart. They treat one parent, typically 97.2% of the time, it's the male that's treated like a visitor in their child's life. There are no visitors.
Wow.
When you're a parent, there's no visitor in a child's life. They took away the entire opportunity to peacefully co-parent, share equal responsibility, all that stuff. And then they criminalize dads who fall on hard times constantly. 1 in 4 children is from a fatherless home. 1 in 4 children.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that much.
And I promise you, it's not a 1 in 4 dads are bad problem. It's a state government is pushing these things to criminalize men and keep them out of their, when you can only see your kids every other weekend and you haven't done anything wrong, right? You're not a criminal.
Wow.
You're not abusive. You're not any of these things, and you're still getting treated like a visitor. Of course, it ruins men, and then they destroy you financially. So yeah, it's absolutely insane. 1 in 4 kids is from fatherless home. Like 82% of homeless youth and runaways are from a fatherless home. 78% of violent youth offenders sitting in jail today are from fatherless homes. 91% of mass shooters are from a fatherless home.
91%.
Yes.
Wow.
So you want to talk about the gun violence issue, and I had this out with the Moms Demand Action people. They were like, you're doing all this harm to create these mass shootings. I said, actually, if any of you have left your husband and are using the court system to drag him through the mud, you're doing it worse than anybody else who owns a firearm right now. You're actually the cause of the problem. You're actually putting these kids through a fatherless situation that's not giving them the discipline they need. They don't have a father that's there all the time when they have the issues that they need cleared up by a male. And they're killing people. And so you're way more responsible than we are, way more responsible. And I'll never capitulate on the gun issue at all. I'm a complete 2A absolutist. I'm waiting for these gun advocacy groups to start hitting me up because no one's going to score higher than me. I promise you. But that's the crux of the problem. And school dropouts, it's like 70 something or 80 something percent from fatherless homes as well. It's like all these big issues, the violence issue in America, the educational issue in America, other than the Department of Education screwing everything up, the homeless youth runaway problem, the incarceration rate, all of that stuff could be fixed by bringing families back together, by stopping the incentives to separate families in state courts. And so it's got to be like a huge part of my platform. Of course, I'm going to talk a lot about the wars. I hate the wars. I think that they all need to stop. They're pointless. They just kill poor people around the world. But this has got to be such a big issue if you're going to be an American First candidate, and I'm an America First candidate. In fact, I think I'm the very first Libertarian America First candidate.
Wow.
But it has to be like, this is what we have to do if we want to get, like, in one generation, we can fix, 80% of these issues by just not incentivizing the split up of families anymore.
Why aren't more libertarians America First focused?
Because they a lot of libertarians are really worried about these imaginary lines are just imaginary lines, and they're not real borders, and this and that. And like, I don't care about all that. Like the vast majority of Americans believe that there's a nation state, believe in the borders, believe that this is their nation, and they need a government that's going to protect their rights and think about them first. So it doesn't matter what libertarians think. Truly, at the end of the day, like, we're the minority when it comes to this stuff. And we need to start using the populist message and start attacking this populist message from a libertarian viewpoint, right? So okay, we got borders. That's fine. Maybe we can look at like a more streamlined immigration process. But for now, there is a border at the crisis, and it is a humanitarian crisis. And we can't. It's unsustainable to bring 2 million people every month into the country. It will be completely unsustainable, especially with like the welfare magnet that we have currently. We're giving money out. We're giving free education out. We're giving cell phones. We're giving food cards. Like, that's all resources that should be going to Americans. 12% of Americans in the United States today are having problems putting food on the table. And the middle class is disappearing at a rapid rate. And we're going to tell you, people from other countries that are coming over here, that we're going to give them more stuff than we're going to give the people who are from here that are struggling. That's not okay. We got to stop doing those things. And so there is like an argument to be made for, this immigration crisis where, these are resources that belong to the people of the nation that live here, and they should have first dibs on those things. They're the ones paying the taxes, right? They're the ones that upkeep the roads and build the buildings and do all these things. They should have first right at all these resources. And so, there's an argument to be made that, libertarians should be America First if you're running to represent the people of America. I just don't know why people don't understand that more often.
Yeah, it seems like you're pretty grounded in the needs of the American people right now, and the border is a huge one. This is a tweet I saw earlier. This was tweeted from I'm Meme Zero. Watches my friend Rev Woo Truth. Law-abiding American citizen was groped by TSA over the weekend versus migrants who not only broke the law by crossing the border illegally, but are being awarded by our government with free food, shelter, and spending money. If this doesn't make you upset, I don't know what will. And yeah, this bothers me too. Like, they could just like sashay into the country.
Yeah, no biggie. This man's gonna get his balls touched for sure.
This is a great beat too. They're having fences cut open for them. Who knows the corruption between our government, the coyotes, the border patrol people? Like, who knows to what degree they're all working together? The people bringing in drugs, and then there's the Colony Ridge situation. This town, what is it, north of Houston, down in Texas, that is like 70-80% migrants, and they don't even have plumbing. They're like they're literally able to buy land down there from a corrupt, I guess he's this guy who I think might even be a Republican, selling just pieces of land to migrants, and they're living in tents. No,
let's talk about your state, right? Like, your guys are an immigration sanctuary state, right? And it's kind of getting out of control there currently, isn't it?
Yes, to the point where Eric Adams, our own mayor, is like, oh, we got to stop. I mean, he's kind of dumb, but he's at least making it look like he's making an effort. I think he flew down to the border. What is it, going to pass out flyers to migrants, say, don't come here, don't come to New York? Like,
yeah, it's like
it's a little late for that.
I don't feel bad for these places that have have deemed themselves sanctuary cities. Like I don't feel bad for them. Like you're the one who said you had all the resources to take these things. The southern states don't have the resources for that. Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? So like, it is what it is. I live in Iowa. No one's coming here. They don't care. They don't
Yeah.
like. It's great. Like here in Iowa, it's so cold that even the Californians won't migrate here. It's
Wow.
really nice.
I was like browsing in a store today. The store called Chico's. It's meant for like middle-aged.
I know what Chico's is. Yeah.
It's meant for moms. It's meant for geriatric women, but it was my mom's favorite store, and so sometimes I will go in there and like browse, and there's women who kind of look like my mom, and I just sort of, I don't know, it's a thing I do sometimes, and I'm in there and just talking to the gals about what's coming out this season. And then this guy comes in. First of all, you see a man in Chico's. It's like seeing a man walk into a nail salon. Everyone turns around in silence. It's like, what the fuck? We've been invaded. And the guy's just kind of like, can we help you? He's just kind of walking in the store, says nothing. We got, oh, maybe he's like shopping for his wife or girlfriend or something. And then finally comes up to one of the ladies, like, it can't speak English, but says something about like, job. And she's like, no, we're not hiring. You don't speak English. You're a random man. You can't sell tunics. You don't know how to you don't know how to sell culottes to middle-aged women in Westchester. Get out of here.
Yeah, it is a problem, and I think that libertarians, there's this really great speech by Jeff Deist where he's talking about the new libertarians, and he ends it with that people in America still highly believe in blood and soil, and and I know that that's a Nazi slogan that people say, but it's like Blutenbladen or whatever in German, and that we forget that at our own peril, and that's true. It is true. If you take the Nazi symbolism out of there or whatever these people freak out about with these words, it's true. Most Americans still care about their property and their family and their heritage and their culture and their religion and their way of life. And they care about these things because they're like deeply entrenched, like cultural things that they've been passed down from generation to generation. And when you do have this like forced integration of immigration, there's people that are upset about it. And if you're going to run for federal level government, especially if you're running for the executive branch, like you have to remember those things because nobody's going to vote for you. No one's even going to give you the time of day if you don't address their like literal biggest issues, right?
Right.
And that's what populism is, and that's why Trump did so good in 2016 was because he was the populist candidate. He was like, "Listen, I know you're scared of these things. These things are scary, and he's like, I'm going to take care of them." And it wasn't like he was the most articulate guy or anything, but he was like, he was to the people. He felt like a real person that cared about their issues. I don't believe that about Trump anymore. I did at one point. I didn't vote for Trump, but I think that a lot of it's lip service. And I'm not saying that just because I'm running for president. I'm running as a libertarian. Listen, we know we're not going to win the presidential election, okay, in 2024.
Well,
we're not stupid.
Who knows? Don't
but here's the thing. If 5% gives us a whole new political landscape, and so we're shooting for 15% to get into the debates. If you guys put me in the debates with the two old parties on the national stage, I'm going to wreck them. I have so much to say to them about the warfare state, about the welfare state, about the Federal Reserve. I have so much to say to these people. So please help us poll at 15. I have made the promise that if America does me a solid and helps me poll in any of the major polls at 15%, I will bring Joe Biden a fresh crack pipe on stage in front of the national audience. So I mean that I'll do that. But
maybe you can get it personalized. Maybe you can get Hunter written on the side.
For Hunter or whatever. I'll do whatever America wants me to do with that. I'll do it. Just help us poll at 15% so I can get up on that stage and chew these people out the way they deserve to be chewed out, without hiding behind my party's smoke screen of we're the good party that cares about everybody. I really want to get up there, and I am just a blue collar working class guy. I go to work every morning. I put my boots on. I have 6 children that I take care of.
But only one was in the commercial, Joshua. Did you pick the cutest one for the commercial?
That was my best bud, Mateo. He's my 2-year-old. He's 2 now. He's much older than that now. That was an older video, but we'll make more family stuff eventually. And when we do these middle America states on the general election, my family, most of the kids will come with us, and my wife and all that stuff too. But I'm Christian. I go to church on Sundays, and sometimes even on Saturday nights we have a service that we go to, and I'm America. Like I'm bread and butter America. This is who we are. And I felt the plight of every middle class, blue collar, working class American. I've been through the family law system for one of my kids who I finally got custody of, and actually today in 2020, but today it's the anniversary, 3-year anniversary.
Oh, wow.
I fought for many years to get her. And I've been through these things. I feel the inflation, I feel the taxes. I feel the warfare state. I'm a veteran. I joined the military right after 9/11 and went out to sea. And we were on the USS Constellation when George Bush declared war on Iraq, and we were in the Gulf when this happened. So, it's where I came from. It's what turned me into libertarian was the warfare state. And learning that we just indiscriminately bomb cities constantly, and that a lot of innocent people died. I mean, hundreds of thousands of Iraqi children have died since 1991. Hundreds of thousands, children. It's got to be stopped. We have to have somebody who's been through this stuff to go up there and say it's got to be stopped. And that's my goal. That's what I'm doing. I'm just the regular guy. We've built a really fast following. The movement's growing. We are the Ron Paul Revolution 2.0, and we're going to say the same things that Ron Paul was saying in a more exciting way. And that's who we are.
I love that. It shouldn't take a veteran, running for office to realize, God, just how horribly we pulled out of Afghanistan and
he should have never been there in the first place.
All the weapons we left behind, like what? It doesn't take a genius to be like,
that
we
war.
Fucked that up. Why
and Afghanistan started right after 9/11, and that was one of the first eye openers for me. Was I was fighting a war in Iraq, and I'm going, hey, wait a minute, Iraq didn't have anything to do with 9/11. What are we fighting Iraq for? And then they kept pushing this weapons of mass destruction stuff, and we got pilots coming back to the ship going, there's no weapons of mass destruction there. Nobody's even shooting at us. There's nothing there. And then they come out with this mustard gas stuff that we actually sold the Iraqis back in, their late 80s that don't even work anymore. When we found them, they were like stockpiled munitions, like literally buried in dirt that were completely out of commission and never would have worked. And that was what the whole war was predicated on there. And we killed a bunch of people. And then at the same time, the Afghanistan war is starting, and it would go on for another 21 years. And they released the paperwork about it. Right. Just a couple of years ago, the Afghanistan papers, if you haven't Googled them, check them out. This is all released information from our federal government that they knew it was an unwinnable war. It was all rosy pronouncements and lies to get us to go there. And they knew it was an unwinnable war, and they knew it would last forever, and they knew it would bolster the military industrial complex. And at the end of 20 years, we left, and in 25 minutes, the Taliban took over the entire country again. That's how bad we were at that war. But that's not the only one. I mean, Vietnam was terrible. We haven't been in an actual war since World War II. The federal government has not declared a constitutional war since World War II. These are all predicated on the authorization and use of military force, which is an open-ended spending bill for military action, basically. It's a total end run around our Constitution. It needs to be ended right away. If people were crazy enough to put me in office, the first day I would sign an executive order that ends the AUMF. I would sign another executive order that tells Congress, if you want war, you have to put your name on it. That means declaring a war federally the way the Constitution requires you to do it.
Wow.
And that way, your constituency gets to see who you are. They get to actually see, instead of me just going out and directing the military because I have this open-ended AUMF that's been with us for decades. You actually have to declare war, and you have to let your constituency know that you've supported this war. And then if they don't support that war, they will know to remove you from office.
How did we get away from doing it that way? That seems like the most transparent way to do it.
Iraq 2, they signed a new one, and it's open-ended. So 2003 or something, they brought out the AUMF, and it's open-ended. I mean, it's literally almost all other military action since Iraq 2 20 years ago has been predicated on this open-ended spending bill that all they have to do is ask the appropriations committee, and they give them money to go to war and drone bomb. And it's got to stop. It's got to be stopped. That's, our biggest export as the United States is war. And it's terrible. It shouldn't be like that. That's not what America was founded on. Our founders fought a war to make sure that our people did not have to continually be at war. And we've been at war ever since. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. And we need somebody who's going to step up on the stage and tell these monsters, these war hawks, these bloodthirsty people that we're no longer okay with this as Americans. It's over. It's time to stop it now. And who better to do it than somebody that's been there, somebody that gets up every morning and takes care of a family in the middle class? I'll do it.
And it seems that like not everyone was aware of how long Afghanistan went on for. Like I think the average person like just didn't know how little we actually went there to fight for, and how kind of pointless it was. But it seemed like with definitely Ukraine and in this post-Trump, you know, Trump leaves, gas immediately goes through the roof. Groceries get way more expensive, and then as soon as the dust of COVID settles, we're in this proxy war with Ukraine, right?
In Russia, yeah.
Or in Russia. And I think that's for the first time a lot of Americans were like, "Wait, how many billions of dollars have gone to this country?
A lot.
Why? Like we're barely trying to just get on our feet again after the pandemic." I think that might have been, and like let me know if you agree. Do you think that was a real moment for the American public where a lot of people turned on the government, or just really were maybe soured or black-pilled or just kind of woken up?
I think COVID was the biggest change that I've seen in America. I mean, we got Republicans talking about holistic healthcare now. Like, okay, all right. We got the Republicans are now anti-militarized police, and we got the left simping for large corporations and police states, and it was just the biggest like transfer of ideology I've ever seen in my life. And that's the problem with these two old parties is they're not predicated on any philosophy or ideology. There's nothing backing those parties that says like this is how we're supposed to act other than their social culture, right? Like that's why the libertarians are cool if you give us a chance, because we're actually predicated on an ideology, like a sound built ideology that's like, wants to roll back all these things. But no, it was the craziest thing because there was this transfer of principle during COVID. But I hate the COVID regime, like more than just about anything besides the warfare state, the military industrial complex. They unnecessarily destroyed the lives of children for 3 years. I believe that they killed people. I 100% believe that, especially in the state of New York.
Oh my God. Like New York was ridiculous.
They let your grandmother die alone in a hospital with an iPad, and told you couldn't see your friends, and all this stuff was wildly illegal. There was no emergency authorization that trumps the United States Constitution in these situations. It doesn't say in there that if people get sick, they can trump the United States Constitution. That's not a law. And so all these mandates were wildly unconstitutional. Thankfully, I lived in Iowa where Kim Reynolds said no to all this stuff. And we just went about our lives like normal people.
Wow.
And we have a much less smaller death toll for this stuff in places like New York. But of course, we're also much more rural than other places too. So I don't want to get in a fight with the stats guys. Okay, I get it. But I will say this: these people deserve to be punished. I've made it part of my platform that the Safer Act task force, the people who went to try and force these jobs to make you get the vaccine, Fauci, Pfizer, all these governors that shut down their states, I want them all investigated. If they're found guilty of crimes against humanity, I want them jailed at a minimum. That's the moderate position. And like your old governor definitely should be in jail right now. There's no doubt. You can't be like, oh yeah, I sexually harassed people and I killed a bunch of old people, but it's cool, I'm Italian. Like that doesn't work. Like you need to go to jail, and
the Italian excuse works for the sexual harassment. It doesn't work for the killing. Well, maybe it does if you're in the mob.
It might in New York, I don't know, but New York's like a different country to me. I'll be there on November 10th. I'll be in Syracuse though, upstate. So
oh, upstate. Okay, I was gonna say if you're in the city, you could come do my show.
Oh, that would have been cool. Exciting. That would have been fun. Yeah. If I don't know I may have some time on the 10th during the day. I don't know how far away upstate is. It's not that far away, I don't think, but
I think it's like a couple of hours.
Is it a couple hours? All right.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I did the Syracuse funny bone. Let's see. Syracuse. 181 miles.
Oh yeah, that's 2.5 hours for sure.
That's like, well, let's see, 4 hours from me, so it's probably 4.5 to the city.
What's your guys' speed limits there? 50?
Yeah. Well, when you're on the highway, you could probably go like 60s. I go 70 sometimes when I'm feeling
that's wild.
Sassy.
Yeah, ours is like minimum 70. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm doing a lot of traveling, so but yeah, I think we're running a good campaign. I think we got a really good, solid platform that other people aren't touching. I mean, These things got to be ended. We can't just say that we're going to end them and then run on a platform and then get in there and just do the exact opposite. And I think that Trump did that on a lot of things. And my problem with Trump, my biggest problem with Trump is he didn't end any wars. That really bummed me out. My other biggest problem with Trump
start any new ones.
I know, and I will say he's the only one. He's the only one in my lifetime who didn't start a war. Okay, I applaud him for that. But he said he was going to end all these wars, and he didn't. He said he was going to give the finger to the establishment, right, and the corporate news media, which is like what I wanted. That was like why I was excited for Trump. And on the way out of the office, he could have just give clemency to Julian Assange, the number one greatest jewel, and he didn't even try to do it, and he could have gave the finger to the deep state by pardoning Edward Snowden. He didn't do it. But he pardoned all these rappers who were in there for like assault and shit. And so like, I have my problems with Trump. I think for what he did,
is Snowden going to write a song about you? Is Assange going to do a rap about you?
Of course not. And don't get me wrong, Biden sucks. Biden's 150 times worse. I get that. But if we all come together and you guys really want to, like, I'll tell you this, there is no better vote in America to give the finger to the establishment than a blue collar working class guy that wants to end all their bullshit and will actually go do it. I think that, it's going to be hard, even if I was to win the presidency, and I'm not fooling myself into believing that we're going to win the White House, right? Like, I want 15% so that we can get into the debates and get national major party status, which then we have a real stage set for us in 2028. But I if you guys were crazy enough to put me in the White House, I'm bulldozing the ATF building, and we're turning it into a dog park. We're gonna send 70% of the federal workforce out. We're going to take what's left. We're going to send as many of them to mail rooms and maintenance departments as we possibly can. This administrative state's got to go. I mean, it's got to go, all of them. Whatever's left is going to be so small, like the FBI is going to be so small that they can get back to focusing on the things that matter, like interstate serial killers and child sex trafficking, as opposed to infiltrating Catholic groups and going to school board meetings and telling soccer moms that they're domestic terrorists and arresting people who were upset about an election. And you know what I mean? Like,
making it or doing another January 6th.
These agencies have gotten so big and out of control that they forgot what the scope of work is. That's the biggest problem, right? I know as president, a lot of libertarians are going to tell you like, oh yeah, I'm going to win the presidency and then I'm going to abolish the ATF. Like, you can't do that. You don't have even if you were to win the presidency by some stroke of luck, which we could do if you guys would get out to the polls and vote for something new. But what I'm saying is, the big thing here is that the president doesn't have the power. There's no power vested in the president to executive orderly abolish these agencies, but you can lay off up to 70% of the workforce. So we can get them small enough to where they, and maybe the CIA, John F. Kennedy's me first. I don't know, but I would still try. I would for sure.
Yeah. What do you say to people who go, Josh, why are you running? You're just taking votes away from Trump, and we need Trump to win because we can't have Biden or whoever the Democrats are going to run.
I just laugh at that because, like, listen, man, I've been through Republican, Democrat my whole life. I'm 40 years old. Nothing has changed. It's only gotten worse. They're not helping us at all. They don't care about us. They tell you on TV that they care about you, but they don't. You're taking away votes from somebody who would actually do the things that he says he's going to do. That's how I look at it. And, I don't necessarily like care because I just went through 4 years of Biden and my life didn't get any better. And I just went through, 4 years of Trump prior to that and my life didn't get any better. Gas was cheaper and
the economy was better.
Was it? It wasn't that much better. I think, we take a very a China related approach to our economy where we always there's never bad news about the economy coming from the White House. It's always good news, whether it's a Republican or Democrat in office. It's really not that much better.
Always spinning it. True.
There was some good things that Trump did. And I'll tell you, his regulation executive order where it's for every new regulation, you have to cut 5 or whatever. That was great. That was absolutely genius. But they only cut 20 of them, right? At the end of the day, and didn't pardon the greatest journalistic mind of all time that really actually gave a finger to the corporate news media. He didn't end any of the wars. My taxes went down $5 a year or something like that. It's really not different. Things aren't changing. And until we do something different, Things are not going to change. You know, Reagan and Trump weren't that much different. Okay. They both had more attacks on the Second Amendment than any other president in my lifetime, by the way. And so
Wow.
you know, what's changed? What has changed? You think Trump's going to get in there and pardon all the January 6th protesters?
Hmm.
No. Hell no, he's not. I would
Well,
pardon
people
them.
would be expecting that, though.
Yeah, of course they
I
would.
think.
They were expecting him to say something at the end of his term too, and he didn't. You know what I mean? And so I would pardon them all. I would pardon Ross Ulbricht, Julian Assange, and we would stop the investigation into Edward Snowden because he's not convicted yet. I would actually do these things, and you can, as president, you have the right and the power to do those things. And you know, we got to have somebody in there that's going to do it. And maybe I don't win, but maybe we change the national political landscape forever. And now these people have to worry about their jobs when they see 40-year-old tradesmen coming for them, you know? Listen, if you guys could put John Fetterman in the Capitol, there's no reason why you can't put me in the
Look
White
at
House,
you.
buddy.
You can at least put a sentence together. You're not wearing a hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
basically Lurch from the Addams Family. No, he's more
Lurch.
Fester-like, but he's like a Frankenstein Fester. I think he died
terrible.
a while ago, and
Yeah, I think
and
he's
they've
fake,
got
too.
just a body double in there from
Yeah.
Central Casting. Like I think
I
he
don't
just
doubt
died.
that at all. It looks like a different person to me. It really does. And you know, Joe Biden's been through
does.
like 12 different variations at this point, it looks like to me. So
Yes,
I
they're
think
all
it's all
dead.
it's all a
Hillary's been
show.
dead.
It's all a show.
Yeah.
That's all government is a damn show at this point. It's like they say one thing and they tell you this, and we're working on these things, and this is how we're going to help the American college and taxpayers and this and that and this and that. But at the same time, tell me what's the worst policy you can think of that's been instituted over the last 40 years, and I'll show you how it had bipartisan support, right? Because none of these bills get through without bipartisan support. Yeah, the Patriot Act, bipartisan support. The new spending bill that's going to send money to Ukraine. How many Republicans voted for that? 129. It's bipartisan bullshit.
Though?
All of it.
Is it because it's all the same party
Because
ultimately?
they don't care about you. They don't care about you. They have us fighting each other on Twitter every single day about which side we want to be on, which gang we want to join, the red gang or the blue gang. It's no different than the street gangs, except they have hundreds and hundreds of trillions of dollars or billions of dollars, and they're sending your tax money to other countries, billions of dollars to 200 countries every year. They're letting the lower class fail. They're letting the middle class disappear. They continue to push for more wars. They continue to put people in rape cages for non-violent crimes. It never ends. Like, all of your rights are being oppressed constantly every single day, right? And it's by both parties. It's not just the Republicans to the lefties that are watching. It's not just the progressives to the right-wing conservatives that are watching. It's both of them. Every bad bill you can think of that's passed the House, every single one has had bipartisan support. We're not winning here. We're losing.
Depressing.
America is losing.
That's so depressing. Do you think it's ultimately just like a deep state, and then everyone on the right and left are ultimately the puppets, and they're just sort of different shades?
Our government doesn't run the government. The lobbyists do, and the wealthy elite, and we call them the regime or the cathedral, right? Like the big tech companies and academia and the corporate news media. There was a story that I was told from somebody that I know who used to work at the Pentagon, and he said the Hill, the journalistic rag there, right? Like this outlet, this journalistic outlet that they have in DC. The Pentagon would go and get their briefings and news from the Hill, from a media company.
Whoa.
And they'd come back and they talk about those things at meetings, right? And like, that's really got to put some stuff into perspective for you. Like, this is who is running our country. It's not the government officials. They don't, they don't stand up and fight. They're just there to put money in their pocket and pay their friends for their pet projects around the world.
Right.
That's all it is. So how do we end that? Well, you have to have a government that has that monopoly on violence, right? Because the government's the only people in America with a monopoly on violence that's going to stand up to them. But we keep putting these same people into office. I mean, Mitch McConnell, these people are like dying in office after 30, 40 years of sitting in that seat. And you keep putting them there. And they continue to do the horrible bipartisan shit that you hate. So, like, how do we fight it? Well, I'll tell you, we throw them for a loop and we start voting for people they didn't expect you to vote for. And we scare them into having to govern the way that they campaign. Maybe I don't win, but if you give me enough of a percentage, the people in Washington are going to freak out. They're going to be hiding under their beds. And I'm a serious candidate. I'm the only serious candidate, in my opinion, because I'm the only one that will actually do the things I'm saying I'm going to do. I don't care about the WEF. I hate the WEF. If I got into office, I'd probably ban the WEF from America. You know what I mean? They're not coming for me. They're not going to get me. I'm uncorruptible. They can't get me. So, like, you know, you got all these people that are in DC to make money. They already make $270,000 a year just sitting in Congress, right? But now they have all these other deals going on, and they go into Congress, you know, as a bartender from New York, from the Bronx, and they come out, you know, big time multimillionaires. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah. How does that happen? You don't get there on great tits alone. If
No,
that were
it
the
doesn't
case,
work
I
that
would
way.
be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Congress would be pretty fly if you just got there on great boobs. You know what I mean? But it's not. It doesn't work that way. No, instead we have people like Nancy Pelosi in there who's going to die there because people continue to vote for her and put her back into office. They fail upwards. Like, our country's failing. Rome is burning. Legitimately, Rome is burning. The greatest empire in the history of the world is falling apart at the seams. And we're going to continue to put the people that are ripping the threads out back into office. No, I'm done. I'm done listening to that. I'm done putting up with it. You want to tell me that I'm wasting my time or I'm wasting my vote? You're wasting your time. You're wasting your vote. You're the ones that continue to vote for these same people that make your life shit all the time. Why? That's the question that should be asked. I don't know. Maybe it's not that funny, but it's true. It's true. Did I put you to sleep? Was that powerful enough? Could you imagine me on the debate stage saying these things to Republicans and Democrats? Did I lose you? I think we lost. I think I lost her. Can you guys? I'm still here. We lost Chrissy, so it's just me by myself. My my rant froze her up. I apologize, guys. I hope everyone's doing good. You can always check out my show too at Break the Cycle. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/FightTheDespots, DESPOTS. Hoping that Chrissy comes back in here. Of course, the website's Joshua Smith 2024. I'm on full screen now, so doing the thing. Yeah, we could talk about my talk points. Obviously we talked about Title 4D quite a bit. I think that's a really important, one of the most important things that we can talk about. Fatherless homes have absolutely destroyed America. Of course, I want to end the wars. For me, there's a place like China that, you know, this battle with about Taiwan is a tripwire. We can build the chips here. We can build semiconductors here in America. In fact, 12% of semiconductors are built here in America today. We build the robots that build the semiconductors and then send them overseas to build the semiconductors. We mine cobalt and silica here. So, you know, this whole predication of war with China is unnecessary entirely. It's only a tripwire purposely. Of course, we're going to stop sending money to Ukraine right away, and Israel and any other country that's taking our money and not giving us any kind of diplomatic trade deals that benefit Americans. I'm done. I'm done with the wars around the world. We're going to bring our troops home. We're going to give them a very aggressive mental health care to get them back in line with their families and integrated with society. Our country's much safer with our troops home right now. Like 65% of our troops aren't even in the States. Yeah. Oh yeah. Kevin, I'll take some questions in the chat if you guys want to send me some questions. I did see that. Yeah. A massive chip plant was constructed in the last couple of years in Arizona. So funny enough, there's already plants in the United States that can build these on like a day's notice, like AMD in Austin, right? Like I used to work for Celestica on the West Coast that built these robots that make semiconductors. So I know we can make them here in the United States. It's just crazy to even think that people are saying we can't do that. Oh, thanks, Chrissy. Chrissy's talking to me in the chat now. This is awesome. I just took over Chrissy's show. It's my show now. Thank you. Welcome to the Joshua Smith Show. Yeah, I agree. My favorite comics. Oh man, I grew up with George Carlin. Richard Pryor was absolutely one of my very favorite. I did like Dane Cook. I know I get a lot of shit for that I used to be a big Dane Cook fanboy. I don't know what he's doing anymore. I heard that he's like I don't know, with young girls now or something weird. I absolutely currently, I love Chrissy, but Shane Gillis is probably my very favorite comic today. His new special was basically took over Netflix to me. I don't think there's a better special out there right now. Yeah, I said Chrissy. I did. I said it. Okay, JR, relax, man. But I will say Shane Gillis is my very favorite in the whole world right now. I think Big J's doing some good stuff too. I think his specials have been pretty funny. I like Dave Smith's new special, but I'd still say that Shane Gillis stole the show from everybody. Let's see. Oh, the 5% thing. Okay, so here's the deal. We want to change the political landscape in America, right? It's important that we start changing this because we're, what's the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. That's what we're doing. So 5% gives us minor party status in the United States. Now they have to offer us a bunch of the same things that they offer the Republicans and Democrats. So some of the same ballot access requirements, federal matching funds, which is kind of funny for a libertarian to talk about, but let me explain it in this way. Those federal matching funds go into an account and they go to candidates that are running for federal office. And no matter what happens, even if the libertarian says no thanks, it's still going to go to federal candidates. So it gives us the opportunity to take this couple $1,000,000 and use it to actually campaign against these evils. So I kind of look at it in a way as like, it's using the money for good to try and, relinquish some of the power over people, including taxes, because I would like to abolish the income tax entirely and cut the IRS down so small that they clean the toilets at the buildings. She always needs help. That's all right. I produce my show on the fly. So no, I have never tried metal detecting. No, I have not. Sorry. Ryan Long is also funny. Adam Choi, what's up, man? I love Adam. It's a good dude. Ryan Long is definitely one of the funniest today as well. He's very, very funny. His co-host had played my ad on his late night show a few weeks ago, and that was pretty cool. It's low budget, but maybe just use your phone. Oh, not me. I got a whole studio set up, man. I'm ready to go. We're hooked. Chrissy, listen, you got to hook your actual internet cable into your computer. It makes things a lot better. CBDCs have to be fought 100%. If I was, I put out a list of who I would pick for my cabinet today. And I did say that Treasury would be Bob Murphy from the Mises Institute, one of the greatest economists living today. He's also very anti CBDCs. And I said I would make Ron Paul the Federal Reserve chair because here's the thing. The president can't get rid of the Federal Reserve charter. Like that thing is signed into law. It has to be an act of Congress. But you do have the opportunity to nominate the Federal Reserve chair. And I would, give Ron Paul whatever time he has left to go into the Federal Reserve with his baseball bat and chop and slash everything he possibly could. So, and I mean that. Like I would nominate Ron Paul today for Federal Reserve chair. So that would be what happened to the hot redhead. What? I'm not hot enough for you? I'm not. That's messed up. That's not very nice. So I believe here's the other thing too. So like, when we're talking about the central banking system, it's not about if it's going to fail. It's about when it fails. It's going to fail. There's no doubt about it. It's unsustainable. We cannot continue to print ourselves into oblivion. It's essentially the Federal Reserve is a giant money printing machine that steals from us through a tax called inflation. It's really what it is. It's a counterfeiting machine. And it's unsustainable. It can't work forever. Eventually we're Venezuela and we have riots and death and murder in the streets and everybody's bleeding and we're taking bags of money to buy loaves of bread. So it's going to end. And I think that the smart thing to do is to buy Bitcoin because when that does fail or when somebody like me gets in there and starts working to get rid of the central banking system.
Hello.
Oh, hi, you're back. Let me finish this rant. I'm almost done. It's my show now. Well, I lost you again. We lost her again. So when it does fail, having something that already has a framework in action is very, very important. I'm a big proponent of Bitcoin. I don't mess with any of the altcoins. I think that Monero, I have like a soft spot for Monero, and I think Monero is pretty good, but I'm pretty much a Bitcoin maxi at this point, and I think that everybody else should be too, so that when this does fail, when we do fail, you're already set up on another framework and ready to go. You're going to be rich, man. So
what did I miss? Look, we had a crazy flood here a couple of weeks ago, and
I remember.
Everything is wet. I think my internet is still damp.
Didn't you say you live in the suburbs though? I thought that only happened in the city.
No, it flooded the whole, I don't know, everywhere flooded in New York.
Yeah.
Tell us what we need to do to get you to 15%. What does that look like?
So every year when we get into the general, some of these big companies hold these national polls, they call them, and they do poll people. They call people, and typically they don't even include the 30-party candidates. But this year, so first of all, we have 50 million Americans data. I'm the first Libertarian presidential candidate to ever have that much data to work with.
Wow.
So we're going to be holding our own polls. So we'll be polling. It's about $1,000 to poll a million people at a time. Now
that's it.
Yeah. And now I am not at all under the illusion that we're going to win those polls because people have not heard of me yet. But we're going to poll, and it's going to put my name in front of them with the L next to it. So that's the important thing. And then these national polls that are held by these institutes that they actually use as like, fodder for the media. And, they're ahead by 6 points here. And we're going to get into those polls this year. We're going to, even if we have to pay to get into those polls, we're going to pay to get into those polls.
Okay.
And then all you have to do is when they call you and say, who are you voting for this year? Say me, say Joshua Smith. It doesn't even matter if you're going to vote for me. This is just what you're going to do to help me get.
Stake. Yeah.
This is just what you're going to do to help me get 15% to get on the debate stage. Okay.
That's it. You just need to do well in the polls. That seems doable.
We have to be polling over 15%. And the last third party or independent candidate to do that was Ross Perot. And we all saw what happened when he got into the debate. He absolutely destroyed those debates.
He crushed. What did he get? 24%?
No, he got 9. I think in the first election he got 19% or something like that. It was high though. It was very high. He got full on. He essentially made the Reform Party a national major political party, but then they just failed right away. Like they didn't keep up with it at all. They didn't keep working on the ballot access issues or anything like that. So it just failed. It was gone. We already have the framework as the Libertarian Party. We've already fought all the ballot access wars. We already have a national committee and state committees. We already have that whole framework built. And now the party is actually like a principled machine. It wasn't before. Prior to this, it was ran by pretty progressive liberal types.
Then what happened?
Like that anymore. The Mises Caucus took it over.
Okay. That's what I was.
Yeah, there was a big takeover back in 2022 at Reno at the National Convention. We essentially took every single thing from them, including all the board positions, all the committee positions. I mean everything. And they had already taken over a bunch of the state parties, so it was like a swiping like wave that took over the party and made it more principled. Wow. Now I'm not super happy with the board, the national board currently. I don't think they're running it as well as it should be ran. But we are no longer out there simping for the WEF and UN agenda anymore, which is nice. So that's an important. The messaging has gotten a lot better, and it's a party that I feel proud to be a part of, as opposed to kind of cringing every time I see him put out a tweet. It's not like that anymore. And I know that people don't understand that. I know that people don't understand that. But if you look into the party today, as it stands today, you will see that the messaging is way more on point to probably what you believe. Certainly is for me.
What do you think of RFK announcing that he's running independent? How does that help or hurt a libertarian such as yourself running?
So I think it actually hurts the old parties the most. I saw the poll that was just run. I'm not going to remember who did it. It might have been the People's Party or something. They just ran a poll that included RFK, a libertarian candidate that's not myself. I don't know why they didn't reach out to me. We're definitely the preeminent candidate.
Unbelievable. I'm going to have a word.
Yeah, whatever. I think they're like a Marxist party anyway, so I don't care. But it was RFK. Cornel West is the Green Party guy. Our guy, Michael Rechtenwald, and then Trump and Joe Biden. And in the poll with RFK, Trump and Joe Biden got 38 and 39% of the vote. So they didn't even get, neither of them even got 50%. And then they did another poll without RFK, and Trump and Biden were both 46 and 45%.
Holy cow.
So and RFK had 19 or 20% in that vote, in that poll. So I think that, don't look at me, I'm going after the 51% of the population that hasn't been voting because they're tired of this shit, right? Look at RFK. RFK is the guy stealing your votes. He's the one stealing your votes as an independent. But here's the thing with RFK too. We fought the ballot access fight. Like I said, we already have ballot access in like 47 states, and we'll probably get it 49 minimum. We're hoping for New York, but it's going to be very hard. He doesn't have ballot access. So he's going to have to go around and spend all this money in every state to get on the ballot as an independent. And that's I mean, we're talking about millions of signatures across the country. It's very, very hard to do as an independent. I don't think he's going to get it done. I honestly don't.
Damn. But it seems like that was his only option because they were literally preventing him from having votes cast for him
Oh yeah,
as a Democrat in
yeah.
certain states.
We know what the Democrats and the Republicans do. They don't. It's all a dog and pony show. They don't care at all to do honest and fair elections. They just don't. They pick their nominee from the board and then tell the people that they don't have a chance anymore to pick them, and just vote the party line. Whatever we tell you to vote, you vote. And we don't do that over here, you know.
We got a couple questions from the chat from David Lowe. I'm sorry, Joshua. May you do well in the polls.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm not sure what the I'm sorry is about. Were you talking about something sad?
He's probably, because I was talking about how hard it is for us and how they try to keep us out. But I'm telling you guys, we have an opportunity to really change the political landscape this year. Like, it's a big thing, man, like to do. And I know it seems very frustrating and impossible, but it's not. I mean,
you have to try. You have to.
Look, if Ross Perot with his big ears and that loud voice could come out and do it, I promise you, if help us get on the national stage, I'm going to make an impact. I mean it.
I love that. And I mean, we used to have 3 parties, like what, a couple hundred years ago.
The last third party to win in the United States of America was in 1875 or something like that. So more than 100.
The Whigs? What was
the Whigs? Yeah, yeah. The good old
Bring
days.
back the Whigs.
Yeah.
Leg 66, the Libertarian Party, and I've heard this.
Yeah, I hear this crap all the time too.
The Libertarian Party seems like spoiled rich kids that think the poor need to die off.
Oh, and they're British too, right? So of course they believe that about the Libertarian Party. No, that's just entirely wrong. In fact, I would tell you that libertarians love their neighbors more than any other political party in this world. And in fact, we're tired of the government oppressing them, stealing their money. And here's the other thing too: people are constantly like, "Oh, you just want to take away all these welfare programs." The fact of the matter is that like 91% of new charities that pop up in the United States are regulated out of the market by bureaucratic red tape and bureaucracies in the United States within a year. The first year they want to be, and these are charities that have like a 6% overhead, and then we're forced to use these charities like Red Cross that have like an 82% overhead. So your government is the one that's keeping charity low. And so, if you really wanted charity, if you really wanted this mutual aid to help your fellow neighbors, you would get rid of the government that's continually making it harder for people to, feed the homeless down by their church without getting a fine. Right. Like,
right.
It's just such a silly argument to me. It's always been there's like a couple of these silly arguments that pop up, and I don't mean to offend you. I'm sure this is like a deeply held belief about libertarians for you. But it's just silly argument, because libertarians are the ones that are like, hey, we want the government to stop taking, 40% of all your paycheck. And we want, the pastor at the church to be able to feed the homeless without getting fined or arrested by the police. And we're like the only party that's actually trying to push for those things. So right. I don't know.
Look at what Trump did though he was kind of a 90s liberal, like a classic liberal, but ran as a Republican, won, really just more so a populist, but he changed the face of politics. Like him or hate him, he appealed to a broad-based people. And like you said before, not the most eloquent, but reached a lot of people. And I think this problem that people have with the Libertarian Party is that they don't have their Trump yet. Like someone like you, I feel like, who is more down to earth. I think this idea comes from seeing a lot of folks who maybe they do seem like just like snotty,
so like Gary Johnson
kids
of the party,
who are just like maybe more intellectual or more like
I can tell you,
average person.
I can tell you that I grew up in a single mother household who worked 3 jobs from about 5 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock in the morning every single day. She would get up and bookkeep and then go and deliver pizzas until almost 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh.
Come home and sleep and do it all over again to raise 2 children. We spent a lot of time in Section 8 low-income housing in the projects. I am not by any means. I've never had a trust fund. I joined the military because I was basically a homeless youth at 17. I mean, listen, I am not a rich kid. nor have I ever been a rich kid by any means. And in fact, now that I do make good money doing things that I have put my heart and soul into, like my job and my show, and I have a reselling business that I do for sports cards and comic books because I'm a nerd. Now that I do have that money, I have 6 children, so really I don't have that money. I mean, it's gone the second I get it. Or
just very good sperm.
That too. Yeah, it's very, very strong, unvaxxed sperm for sure.
There you go.
Still pure blooded. I actually fought my job on the mandates and won. And so did I organized the rest of my shop to fight back, and we won.
Good for you. I just got fired.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Now I can do this.
Yeah, it's put your full. This is what you like to do, anyways.
Oh yeah.
Put your heart into it. That's what
I wasn't really great at my job. I was doing it, but I wasn't having a blast.
Sure. I do want to preface the nerd thing with I also did MMA for 10 years and wrestled for 14 years. So don't mess with me.
Okay. You know I mean? So you're well-rounded.
I still got it, right? But I'm like, but yeah, I like comic books and stuff too. So
So don't try to fight him on comic books. You will get your ass kicked. Yeah. What's up, Junior? I'm rooting for Josh, but I have a serious question. What are Josh's favorite hardcore bands?
Who is this? This got to be somebody that knows me, right? Because
this is one of my faves. This is he's a
somebody that watches your show. That's cool.
Yes.
Man, so my first CD that I ever purchased with my own money was Black Flag's Damaged. It was the first CD I ever bought in my life. I didn't know that maybe you know me from somewhere else and that you know that I'm a hardcore.
He must, because he doesn't ask this question of everybody.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm definitely into hardcore and metalcore too. I've been through a bunch of different phases, but my favorite, second wave or third wave hardcore band was Comeback Kid. I love Comeback. I still listen to Comeback Kid all the time, but I liked the OG Comeback Kid from like their Turn It Around and Wake the Dead, like their first 2 albums. I do like Andrew, the new singer, who was their guitarist. Man, I could do this all day, but I'd probably say that like Comeback Kid. I loved Most Precious Blood a lot. That Terror era, I loved Terror. In fact, I'm in the Overcome video for Terror. I'm in that.
I didn't know you were a video vixen.
Yeah, I went to Under the 6th Street Bridge in LA and hardcore danced with 40 like hardcore kids from LA. It wasn't like whatever. So yeah, there you go. Are we gonna have a twerk contest right now?
That's the Eliza Blue song. I play that every time I have someone on who's a video vixen.
I forgot about that. I had forgot about all that Eliza Blue stuff. I forgot that stuff was great. I don't know what really happened, but I will say that it looked bad. I will just say that. Okay.
Yeah, that's all you need to know, really. We found someone in the chat who has a campaign slogan for you. Are you ready?
Oh, sure, let's do it.
Okay. Kamikaze. Vax-free loads and tax-free roads.
I like it. My campaign slogan. It's fun. That is a good campaign slogan. We probably do well, at least on the comedy circuit with that one. But we do have a campaign slogan. It is a vote for vengeance. You can buy the Vote for Vengeance stuff on the website. We have like a whole merch site, and they're probably the coolest hoodies I've ever seen.
Love this. I'm gonna order one because I love this.
And just so you know, the Vote for Vengeance hoodie, the Vote for Vengeance hoodie and shirts and all that stuff, it doesn't actually say my campaign name on it. But it does have on the back, it has a really cool QR code that people can scan that takes them right to the website. If you go to the tabs and you look at merch or whatever on there, you'll be able to see them. It's really cool if you wanted to look them up and show people.
Yes, let's pull this up. Let's get some merch going.
Yeah, so the Vote for Vengeance stuff's probably my favorite, and that is the campaign slogan. And then there's a bunch of other stuff too. We did like regular Josh to make fun of the Dark Biden memes. We have the regular Josh, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Oh, it's not loading up there, huh? Your internet is really bad.
It's
I think that's the vote for. Is that the Vote for Vengeance hoodie? I can't see. You're too far away. Let me pull you back off my monitor and I'll help you out here.
It could be this one. No, that's bigotry against communism.
Yeah, the bigotry against communism is good actually. I said that in a debate in New Jersey, and then we made a shirt of it. So.
Ooh. Okay. All apparel. There we go. I love this.
Yeah, that first one is the Vote for Vengeance stuff.
I'm gonna get it in Heather Navy.
Yeah, it's really cool. They got the t-shirt and then the hoodie. The hoodies are actually really high quality and stuff too. So, but there's a lot of I have probably one of the coolest graphics and merch teams of any campaign of all time. There's so much stuff up there you can get. Yeah, there's a Liberty Woman's tee.
That's fun.
There's some good ones on there for sure.
I always love a T-shirt I can wear to the gym and upset people.
Yeah, the tax slave, and there's the regular Josh meme. That's if you know the Dark Biden meme. That's making fun of Dark Biden.
Just regular Josh.
Yeah, because I don't have to be dark. I'm just dark in general. Like I'm already dark, so it's just
I
regular.
like
me.
that.
Yeah, people on the campaign team get it more than anybody else. So.
Get in, loser. We're voting. That's cute. This
Yeah.
reminds me of Rogan's thing a little bit.
We also are doing also doing a special Halloween design that says all gun laws are boo shit, and it's a ghost of AK-47. So that one will be cool.
I saw that. That was really neat.
Yeah. There's mugs. I think we have mugs up for that already. But yeah, we got the best merch in the game. We got the best memes in the game. And if you can't do those things, don't run for president in 2023, man. It's a bad time for you.
Why do you think that Trump ignored Snowden and Assange? Just didn't think they were important enough. Certainly there were enough people talking about it.
Here's the thing is like Trump ran as the anti-establishment candidate, but like, man, he's been an establishment Democrat in New York his whole life. His whole life he's been entrenched with the Clintons and even was like friends with Barack before he started going after him. And all these people, the Bushes. I mean, he's been friends with all these people. They've all been over to his house and he's been to their place. And he's been an entrenched establishment Democrat his whole life. And then all of a sudden he's like the populist rights hero running for president. I never bought it. Like I never really bought it. And I thought it was great that he'd had mean tweets. I love his mean tweets. I'm taking over the mean tweets. That's what we do on Twitter, right?
That's what I think we missed the most. I don't mind spending more for gas as long as we have our funny mean tweets.
And like, look, dude, I'm not going to say like, I like Biden or something. I mean, Biden, the thing about Biden is like, I don't have to tell you how bad Biden is.
Right.
You already know how bad Biden is. But if you're still a like Trumper in 2023 and you're like still like one of those like hardcore, like almost cult like Trumpists in 2023, you should really do some like self-evaluation and ask yourself why. Like, what was so good? Is it just because you want to win? Or is it because you actually want policy that's going to help enrich your lives? Because you're not going to get that from the Republicans and the Democrats anymore. They've proved it to us over and over and over and over for decades. So I don't know.
A lot of the lingering Trump fans go, well, like the people that were around him were the wrong people and they were stifling.
It's always an excuse. It's always some excuse. And I'm telling you, as a libertarian, if you put me in the White House, okay, I'm not going to have anybody around me but the cabinet that I build. And I'm still going to do the things that I said I'm going to do. Or I'm at least going to try my very hardest until they take me out, right? But I'm not going to be taking any convertible trips down any street parades in Dallas, Texas. You know what I mean? So like, but like, I would actually do these things. Through the AUMF, I have the opportunity to stop sending people to war and bring people back. I have the opportunity to write an executive order that abolishes the some of these really bad gun laws, like the school gun ban from '93 and the NCI or NICS and the NFA. And, I can do those things and I'm going to do those things. So, when people are like, you're not a serious candidate, I'm like, I'm the only serious candidate. I'm the only one. I'm the only one that's actually going to do the things that I said I'm going to do. Because these people
say that,
won't.
Just show them a suit and tie and be like, look, would I own this if I wasn't serious?
I have like personally tailored suits that I wear to events. Okay. They cost me a lot of money. I got those at Nordstrom's. Okay.
Those aren't cheap.
Yeah. They're not.
They take your measurements and everything. Yeah.
Of course, I lost a lot of weight since the last time I got them tailored. So now my pants are a little big. I got to get them fixed. But
you got to get them fixed so you don't look like Fetterman 2.0. Right.
Yeah. No, I dress much nicer than he does. And look, I do, I am like, I grew up a skateboarder and I'm a blue collar working class guy. And I do wear hoodies, like the campaign hoodies, but I try to wear them with like nice jeans or something, at least not shorts and Crocs. But, and if you see me I'll be at the Texas State Fair on Monday, campaigning there. And if you see me there, I'll probably be in a polo and slacks. Like I'm not going to be in a nice suit out in the sun at the State Fair. But, when I go to these events and these debates and stuff, we dress to the nines and we get a nice haircut and we even trim the beard the right way. And I've taken it seriously.
I love that. It gives people hope because there are so many people who feel as you do and are just think both sides are bullshit. Like my dad is somebody. I mean, I would have heard about Ross Perot if it weren't for him. He is completely black-pilled on the whole thing. I don't even think he votes anymore.
Show him my videos.
I don't know if he can even remember his iPad password, but I will send them to him, and I'll be like,
Sure.
he'll be like, I don't know the password on this video. I don't know how to download it. I'll be like, Dad, just click on it. But there are so many people who feel as you do. Like it's two sides of the same coin. No, they truly don't give a shit. And you know, right. I mean, I don't think it necessarily is about winning. It's about connecting with people so that the average voter meets you and it doesn't get totally black-pilled. Like, wow, there are people that are running. There are people who feel as I do. And it's worth it just to get the ideas out there.
Right. No, and I agree. And that's what this is. And you know, like I said, like I've been telling people, I'm the first libertarian presidential candidate to be honest enough to tell you, hey, we're not going to win the presidency in 2024. I know it's sad, but it's probably the truth. But I think that we can clear the 5%. I really do. If Gary Johnson could get 3.3% in one of the most polarized elections of our lifetime in 2016, while showing up to every event looking like Towley from South Park, he was so high. Then I know that I can do it because I connect with people on like a personal level because I am you. I'm doing this for us. I'm not doing this just to be the candidate. I'm doing this because I am you. Like I am. This is a movement. It's way bigger than a campaign for me. This is the Ron Paul Revolution 2.0. It's a revival. It's the remnant. It's the people who remember that liberty exists if we want it to. And I think we can build a big enough movement to make a dent in American politics today, right now.
Liberty exists if you wanted to. I think that's another T-shirt slogan.
Nice.
Here, Sizzle Chest feels the naked guy dancing at the convention.
I ran him.
Best
I personally
Liberty Party
ran him.
movement ever.
I personally ran James Weeks out of the party. You're welcome.
Who is
Personally.
this?
Me and my friends. His name is James Weeks. He ran for national chairman. He was or vice president. I think he ran for vice president because he was pissed off about Bill Weld, and he went up on stage to give his speech and put a boombox on stage and stripped. Big fat guy.
Wow. So he's like the Bert Kreischer of politics.
Yeah. Well, and then worse. And then because he's a communist, and Bert is not a communist.
Oh gosh.
I do love Bert's new movie. The Machine is hilarious. By the way,
I thought it was horrible. I could barely.
I loved it. I loved it.
I'm glad somebody did.
I like really corny, cheesy shit. So my favorite horror movie is a movie called Bad Taste that Peter Jackson did in like the 70s, and it was so B horror, like cheesy. But no, he went up there and danced, and then my side of the party ran that guy out of the party. He was a communist, like an actual Marxist communist.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And you look at what's it called? The Democratic Socialist. That's a group
of America.
The DSA, right?
Yeah.
And Omar is part of that. Talib, AOC, and there was just a big.
They're radical leftists, and
these
Yuri
are people
Bezmenov.
that serve in our Congress, and they're part of this group there. So and they just had a big demonstration in Times Square, Manhattan, somewhere, like low key being pro Hamas, pro Palestine, pro all the shit that's happening, and they haven't denounced it. They haven't taken themselves out of the group.
You guys were warned. Everybody was warned.
Yeah.
Yuri Bezmenov literally came over here. He defected from the Soviet Union. And he was like a social psychologist, and he came over here and told America, hey, the communists are infiltrating your country. We know because I was a part of the plan. I watched them organize and do these things, and they're infiltrating your academia and your institutions and your news media. And we were warned. McCarthy told everybody, but they just, they shrugged him off as a violent drunk or whatever. But he was right. McCarthy was right. Like they are here, and they are, and maybe his end game was a little harsh. Like we got to put all these people in camps, and I don't know, but they're here and they're in our government now. It's not even just our institutions anymore. They're in our government, and they are making policy for the United States of America. And these people are anti-family, anti-Christian, anti everything good, culture, heritage, anti-straight relationships. I mean, it's really to that point now.
All of it.
And it's coming down from our government and our major institutions and the cathedral, academia and big tech, and we need somebody who's also going to go to war with those people. And man, I tell a lot of people are like, oh, you're a libertarian, you can't get involved in the culture war. And I'm like, listen, as a politician in America, if you're afraid to get into the culture war, you're dead in the water, because 90% of what people are worried about these days is culture.
How do you separate that from politics, especially now?
You don't.
It's
Look,
silly.
politics is downwind of culture. So like, if you don't change the culture, you're never going to change the politics. And it takes,
Right.
it takes media, it takes, education. And like, that's what I'm doing. This is when I was going into this rant, this is a 50 state media tour. That's what a presidential election is for a libertarian. And so we're going to go and wake people up to this stuff and let them know, like, hey, there's a better way. And nullification is another big point of my platform, right? Like, these people at the top in the federal government, they hate you. They want you fat, sick, and maybe dead as well. They want all your money. They want to continue their wars. But you have the opportunity through the 10th Amendment to nullify all these federal laws at the state and local level. So like, if you could take over your local guns, become the local sheriff, run for school board, you can start negating these things and nullifying these things like that. Boom, get them out of here. So I'm hoping to get more people that are into nullification to run for these offices at the local and state level, and I'll help you.
Make nullification great again. I love it, Josh. You have my vote. You convinced me.
Nice. Let's go. I like it.
I'm part of the 15% now. Josh, where can people follow you? What's coming up? Where are you touring to?
Sure. So Monday and Tuesday I'll be in Dallas, Texas. I'll be at the Texas State Fair most of the day on Monday, and then we'll do an event on that night. So if you follow me on Twitter at Joshua at Large, you'll see it scrolling there at the bottom. You can I'll post all the details there if you guys are around the area and want to come say hi. You can go to my website. It's really important, joshuasmith2024.com. There's several things you can do there. There's a volunteer sign up form. We got a great group of people, about 150 volunteers right now working on this campaign. A great campaign manager named Sean Kennedy that's just working his heart out. We need more people that are willing to help on social media, help with delegate coordination. That's a lot of people don't understand. In the Libertarian Party, 1,100 people pick our nominee at the national convention in DC next year in May. You have to become a delegate for your state and be sent to the national convention May of next year. And then you can vote for our nominees there. So we need delegates. We need people that are willing to go to their state conventions, become delegates, and then go to the national convention and vote for me to make sure that we get in the general and get on the ballot. We are working on that. That's our number one focus. So you can sign up to figure out how to be a delegate there. You can buy merch there. You can give us money. Okay. I hate asking for money. It's the worst part. It's the absolute worst part of politics, but we're up against financial juggernauts in this Leviathan that we call the federal government. And without money, we can't exist in this game. And so every dollar counts. We set a very small fundraising goal of $150,000 by May of next year. It's not a lot of money. You guys can help us get there very quickly. We can have everything we need to get to the national convention, and then we can figure out more fundraising going into the general. But that's the important goal now. And of course, you can see all our videos. This interview will probably be up there. We have a whole media tab, so we promote anybody who has me on the show and all that good stuff, man. So
I love it. You're the best, Josh. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Chrissy. I appreciate it.
Really have your shit together. And I think it helps talking to people about your background and how hard you had it and how hard you've worked, because I think just kind of combating the libertarian stereotype is a big part of the battle, because most people just have no clue. Most people don't even know a libertarian. So you're doing great. You're doing great.
Well, thank you. You're doing great.
Shucks. Thank you to the chat. You guys had some good comments and questions today, and we will see you all next time. Bye.